Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, let's go down a rabbit hole here.
Okay, I'm excited. This is season 2, episode whatever number.
Two.
It's the second episode of
It's
season 2.
75, but it's two.
Yeah, because we did a recap for the
We
first
did the
one.
recap,
Yeah.
and now we're kicking off season two.
So this is like our first real like official episode of season 2
Yeah,
after our break. We took
we're
a
not
little
doing a recap.
no, we're going down a rabbit
We're
hole.
going down a
Yeah,
rabbit
a
hole.
fresh rabbit hole. Yeah,
And the rabbit hole that we wanted to go down because you travel.
I did.
So,
Yeah, and I like experienced some interesting things.
yeah,
I think I had some revelations. So I spent a lot of time in South Carolina, which I love.
yeah,
I just love it there.
yeah.
And it's really weird. I was noticing something interesting about the people. I mean, well, for one, I mean, the people are so friendly there. They're so much more friendly
Yeah.
than like where we live, where we're from in California. Um, like the natives. And it's funny because I started to be able to spot like people who were not from there.
Transplants.
Transplants weren't as friendly. So the people that were from there are super friendly and nice and helpful. And what I started to see is that I started wondering, like, are walkers regional?
I think so. I think you have to look at the dynamics of a walker. So for people who don't know, walkers are a reference to The Walking Dead, the zombies in The Walking Dead. What we're saying is that's a metaphor for people who have been bombarded by a whole host of things. I think our running thesis with walkers is that the chemicals and the media work in conjunction with one another.
Right.
So the chemicals and the media, they work in conjunction with one another to render someone into kind of
A
a
zombie.
zombie state.
Yeah.
They're kind of despondent.
They don't really notice things, they don't question things. They just do what the TV tells them.
They do what the TV tells them.
They're
And then
followers.
what we also kind of notice about walkers is they're kind of psychopaths.
Yeah.
They kind of like micromanaging you
Yeah.
and telling you you're screwed. They
Yeah.
want to tell you
They
you're
like that.
screwed.
And I noticed it seemed like there were a lot less of those where I was
Well, so what
over
we
the
said
summer.
is like, okay, so what causes people to turn into that? It's the media. So the people that live in that region, it's highly likely that they're not tapped into some of these toxic media and social media sources that people around here are.
That's possible.
California has a disgusting thing about it. It's that people who think they're cool because they're in this geographical location.
Right,
It's like, no, 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 no.
right,
Just because you're standing here and it is nice, that doesn't make you cool.
right.
You've come to the wrong conclusion. So there's that. And then also people have very toxic social media habits here. They
Yeah.
listen to crap.
And toxic, just like social habits, like I feel like there's a lot of like trying to keep up with the Joneses here and a lot of following of like, everybody wants to follow what the celebrities are
Being in a
doing.
moral bottomless pit is
Yeah,
very conducive to
right.
California.
It's very
Whereas
prevalent here.
in South Carolina, that might get frowned upon,
Right.
being in a moral bottomless pit,
Yeah.
having tattoos all over and sleeping with whoever. People there might have Christian fundamental values
There's
that
more
go
of
back
that.
generations.
Yeah, more of
And
that.
and even if it's not all Christians, it's still kind of a Christian ethos
Right.
that pervades the area. Whereas we've almost abandoned that in California.
Yeah.
We've become just media like Mecca out
Right.
here.
And it's funny you mentioned the tattoos because I saw a lot less of that too. Like we see people just like everybody's got a tattoo or like nobody has just one, and a lot of
It's a
people are
media thing.
covered. And I didn't see as much of that there. But I noticed though this seems to happen like I think it's regional because you notice a much more highly concentrated um, version of walkers in cities. And I remember during the Cooties fiasco, I did a lot of traveling and um, I was like doing a lot of like cross country trips to different areas, kind of
Yeah.
investigating. And every time I got into a larger city, no matter where I was, it didn't matter if I was in Montana, Texas, whatever. When I got into a larger city, there were more walkers and more people were like, wearing masks and following all the
Yeah.
little cooties rules and stuff. Whereas like when you get outside the city, it's not it's not as much. People tend to kind of like do their own thing and not bother each other.
And that seems to be what the Culture Club wants to do is corral people more and more into urban areas
Yeah.
and then ultimately into 15-minute
And I
cities.
think that's part of the plan that, they want everybody in 15-minute cities. And part of the plan is to corral people and make them think like that this is how it is everywhere. And what I've noticed is um, it's not like that everywhere. Like when you get out of the city, things are so different. Like you will find peace and tranquility and, serenity. And you don't find these things in cities, even if you're in a small city. I mean, it's just like, it's so interesting to me that some people never leave their bubble. They never leave the
Yep,
city that they're in. And
that's true.
I remember like when I was you know doing some things in Hollywood.
Yeah.
um I remember I had some friends and knew some people who like they never left LA. And like when I kind of introduced some of them to like a smaller area, they were like, wow, we had no idea this was even here. Like they just couldn't even fathom. Like
They get into their mode, they
yeah,
have their peeps that are so important to them, and then
yeah.
that's all there is.
And I think that, a lot of people, they've been pushing this, the culture club has been what we refer to as the first part of culture club.
Yes.
We have to use code words.
The Culture
Yeah.
Club.
The people that are ruling the world, they have pushed this idea on us that, the world is overpopulated
Yep.
and there's too many of us.
Yep.
That's why they want to exterminate a lot of us. But they've been pushing this whole thing when in fact, actually, it's not the truth. Like the population is actually declining in a lot of civilizations and areas.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of land out there. Like I just drove across the entire country and I'm telling you, there's like thousands of acres out there where you will see nothing. There's
They don't
nothing.
want you to know about
They
that.
don't want you to know
They
about
want
that.
you to hurry up and get into their cities where they can control you, and then they control what job you have. They can control where you go to school. They have a lot of tight control over the urban
Yeah.
areas, and
And
that's one of their plans.
yeah,
Get everybody into those urban areas.
because they can control us, they can spy on us. They're putting cameras everywhere. They can monitor everything you're doing, um,
How about the
and manipulate
5G?
us. The 5G, the
You're
chemtrails.
getting away from when you get out into a rural area, they're not able to spray as many chemicals on you, whereas they can just concentrate their chemtrails on a city.
Yeah, they can do you.
They can do you in a
Yeah,
city. Whereas, when you're out in a rural area, that's the thing that they don't like. Plus, we've talked about this too. The Culture Club, they hate decentralization.
right.
They don't like people having autonomy.
No, they don't want people out there talking amongst themselves, like maybe going to churches or social groups,
Gatherings,
gatherings where they can't control them and they don't know what's happening and they can't push
because
their
that's who
ideas.
runs the world. The Culture Club is megalomaniac psychopaths who micromanage.
Totally.
And so they can't micromanage you if you're out in a rural area.
No. And so basically, what my life experience has shown me, um, mostly in the last few years, is that um, the cities are totally controlled, no matter what size. Like, we're in a city that's not super huge, it's getting bigger, but our city council is completely corrupt, and they're controlling, basically a lot of our city now is turning into a 15-minute city. I see these apartment buildings popping up all over the place. I don't know what they're going to do about traffic, or where all these people are
And
coming from.
it's hard to not get Eeyore cruising around. Oh, that's another term that we didn't talk about.
I know.
That's one. Eeyore and Tigger.
Yeah.
Eeyore is morbidly depressed.
Sad.
Tigger is like, hey, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's what Tiggers do best. So, hey, it's hard to stay Tiggered
Yeah.
in where we live because you're surrounded by people who, quite frankly, are dipshits and assholes.
They're walkers.
They're walkers, and then they're
They love to
self-absorbed.
micromanage.
They're kind of hateful.
They want their 5 minutes of
They
power.
want their 5 minutes of power, and they're inconsiderate.
Yeah. And what I experienced where I was over the summer is that people, like, they seem like they want to be more helpful. They actually like want to be friendly. They want to help you, and they're like nice, and they like want to go out of their way to help you. Like even just going into like Lowe's, there, I mean, when you go into Lowe's in our town, nobody knows what they're doing. You ask them a question, they don't know anything about
Oh, dude, I never even asked those people.
they don't know anything
They're
about their
retarded.
department, and they're rude. They just want to go on their break. But like I was noticing back there, the people were like there were like a lot more
Informed,
employees, and they were more informed. And they they
helpful.
they walk up to you and they're like, "Can we help you find something?" And it was just like, "Whoa, that's weird."
Yeah.
And then they want to help you, and they actually know what they're talking about, and they guide you, and
The
they
cult has bred that kind of customer service and consideration of others out of people
uh-huh.
in California. California has been on the cutting edge, if you want to say it, in the brainwashing and the walkerdom.
Right.
We have been on the cutting edge. Our education system is totally woke.
Yeah.
And everybody in California, they think they're cool, so they're going to get hypnotized by the media
Mm,
because they think they're in the media. They think the Showtime series is about them.
I know.
People walk around California, and this is what I noticed. They think that there's cameras on them at all times, and they're in a reality show, and they're a big somebody.
Yeah.
People in South Carolina, because I lived in Jersey for 8 years, and it's kind of the same. People are down to earth and real.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like when you're from California, like you and I are, you get taken aback. You're
Hmm.
like, dude, that person
The
was,
people seem more real.
they're real, they're down to earth. You know, the thing about people in California is you come out here and then suddenly you get the virus of I'm cool and I'm somebody.
Yeah.
And like, I used to work in LA. I used to work on Miracle Mile. And you'd hear people talking, and it's always the kind of same stuff. Like they'll be like, "Well, I was at the party last night and Dr. Dre was there."
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's kind of the mentality.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, look at who I am and look at where I'm at. And I think that's a toxic worldview
It's
that
very
allows you to
toxic.
be influenced by the media. Because I think what you're kind of talking about is cities, you see media heads more.
Yeah.
You see more tattoos. That's a media behavior.
Uh-huh.
You see more inconsiderate, kind of self absorbed behavior. That's a media behavior.
Bottomless pit behavior.
Bottomless pit, immoral, you know. And then also kind of like, where we were talking in our remember we came to the conclusion that the new 15-minute cities are roach hotels? So the Roach
Yeah.
Motel. So, what happens in the Roach Motel? How do people not see the slippery slope when they move into the Roach Motel? Is they go, it's so convenient.
Oh yeah.
You know, I
Everything's so convenient.
I have a cheesecake factory. It's right there.
Hmm.
Starbucks is down there. And oh my God, there's a Chick-fil-A. It's right there.
Yeah.
So
And I can just pay with my phone, and pretty soon I can just use my
I got a
wrist.
chip in my palm.
It's so much more
I don't even have to
convenient.
have a wallet.
I don't have to carry a purse.
It's so cool. We have
It's
a
so
palm
much
tree,
easier.
we have a pool, and I haven't left this 3 mile radius in about 35 years. And I think that's what they want.
That's exactly what they want.
Because, like you
Except
said,
the 35-year thing. They want to shorten that.
maybe not that long until 2035. But anyways, the point is that they want you to get into your city and then don't leave.
Yeah.
We got everything right here.
They don't want you to know what's out there. And I think that's
Because
what
what
my point
happens?
is.
What happens? You cruise out
Yeah.
and you go, things are different.
That's what my point is in this episode is that um they don't want you to know what's out there, and things are different out there when you go explore different areas. um things are different, and every I'm sure every area has its own culture and its own little kind of vibe or whatever, obviously. But you know, if you're stuck in a city, you got to get out. You got to get out of your bubble and you got to go explore. There's so much out there. And, you
That's a
know,
good point.
that just makes me start thinking about my other favorite place that I want to get to one day, Antarctica.
Antarctica.
I know.
That's right.
I really hope that the elites aren't, the culture club isn't
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. I put
wasting
forth
us.
the idea that they already have like lesbians out there going, no, 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 no. Those polar bears, they have to go over to the other side.
They're micromanaging. I like to think of it as an unexplored hidden territory that we're going to get to one day.
I happen to
And I
think
have
Brad Pitt and Jeffrey Epstein have villas there, but that's just me. I'm a bad
it
person.
could be
I
though.
hope you're right.
Well, I mean, why would they be keeping it a secret from us?
I hope you're
They're
right.
keeping
I
it to
hope it's all
themselves.
untapped. I think that what what people can do though, I mean, let's say that you do live in a city. You don't have to be a walker.
No.
Dude, I grew up in Southern California and I was just talking to you about this. Back in like 1987, I was like, dude, F the media.
Hmm.
I'm not obeying the media. And I think the main impetus for that was I looked around at people and I was like, dude, everybody just does what the media tells them to do.
Hmm.
And they're all shallow and materialistic and
Right.
superficial
Yeah.
and lame.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you do live in a city and like maybe you can't move or whatever, but you can definitely escape it for a day. Like you can drive a couple hours
Get in the
away.
habit of doing that.
Yeah, go a couple hours away or even an hour might be all you need to get out and just see some smaller areas. You know, you can take a train somewhere. Um,
Do it for your own
do
benefit
it for
too,
your
because
own
guess
benefit.
what? You might find that, wow, the customer service at that coffee shop was really good.
Yeah,
That lady was so nice and thoughtful, and that's just a good experience. Whereas, dude, you go out to eat around here, and it's like,
it's so lame.
I don't even like going out to
It's
eat.
so
You're
lame.
rolling the dice with like getting such bad service that you don't even want to go back to that
Yeah,
place.
yeah, I know. I just think like everybody can benefit from getting out of their bubble, you
You know
know?
what's interesting is customer service improves in
Hmm.
those type places
It does.
because customer service is kind of a it's kind of a sign. It's semiotics. Things kind of drip off of customer service. You can tell by someone's customer service what kind of a society they live in, what kind of a culture.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because, I was raised to do customer service and just be really friendly, always be trying to help out,
Hmm.
and always the customer is always right
Yeah.
was kind of the ethos.
Yeah.
But now you have customer service from megalomaniac psychopath micromanagers
Right.
and they come up and they go, "No, no, no,"
Yeah.
and you're screwed, sorry.
Yeah.
That's customer
That's
service.
kind of the attitude that most people have.
No,
It's like, no.
no, no.
Yeah, I mean, like even yesterday, I was getting a mani pedi, and it was a really nice experience, and the girl was really sweet. But it was like, I'm like, can I get like, I want something kind of like fun on, can we do that? And it was like, this nail polish doesn't really work that way, and it was like
Yeah,
no to everything, you
the
know?
answer is no.
Yeah,
That's what I lead with. I
yeah.
remember, we got it resolved, but remember, because my daughter started going to junior college
Hmm.
and she did the FAFSA. And
Yeah.
well, it turns out she did the number wrong. I thought somebody had tried to like use her number, but
Oh,
she put it in wrong.
oh
Yeah,
no.
it came out. So, anyways,
Oopsie.
well, I know. Yeah, I was like, good job. So I was like accusing people and stuff that they
Yeah.
didn't actually do. But whatever, I have no problem with that. So, anyways, I went to the junior college in town. She's not going to this one, she's going to another one. But I just went to kind of try to figure out how I might be able to resolve it
Yeah.
before it was resolved. And the girl in there was like, no,
It's a,
no, no,
it's
no,
never
no.
getting fixed.
And then she was kind of like going, you'll probably just have to pay out of pocket. Because, FAFSA is like, okay, your junior college is covered by a Pell Grant.
Hmm.
Everybody's is.
Yeah.
And she was kind of like, well, but you probably gonna have to pay now.
Just
But
you.
yeah, have a nice day.
You're the
Go.
exception.
I can't help you, and you're probably gonna have to pay. That was kind of her customer service. And I remember the other girl, I went because remember my dad's memorial, we wanted to have the pictures projected on the wall while everyone was eating.
Mhm.
And so my mom wanted me to get a digital scanner. So you scan the pictures in and it
Right.
puts them into electronic format.
Yeah.
So I looked online and they had them at Macy's and I went in there and the lady just goes, No, no, we don't have those. And so I went all the way down there, and that was just it. No, no, not even a sorry.
Everything's online.
It's everything's online
That's
too.
part of the whole plan too. They want to wipe out all the like small businesses and they want it to be where you're buying everything online. You're not going out and interacting
Yeah.
with other people. You're just like in your coffin apartment ordering stuff and
Robot fulfillment
yeah.
in a warehouse.
And like where I just spent some time, there were like a lot of like individual little businesses, just all along the
Culture Club
roads.
hates that
They hate that. They were like locally
because
owned
you
businesses,
know what the culture now I'm starting to realize the Culture Club took over in 1963 when they killed JFK.
Hmm.
And what did they hate? 1950s America.
Hmm. Right.
Because 1950s America was a strong middle class. You could start a hardware store in some little town in Michigan and
Yeah.
put your kids through college, have a house, 2 cars.
Yeah.
We had clean neighborhoods, safe,
So now,
best
like,
schools in the world.
I think the best thing to do is to go out and find little towns like that because there still are a few of those around and you can go, be in those areas. Even if you just take a vacation to one of those areas, you will
You know what I think
experience a
is
different lifestyle.
I think was going to happen. I mean, yeah, that's a great point. But I think what might happen is the Culture Club is going to lose power and their influence is going to wane,
Yeah,
and then people are going to be like, "You're just being lame." And then they're gonna be like, I am. What am I being lame for? Because they're no longer being influenced by the cult. They're just being lame now.
hmm,
And so I think there could be kind of a movement away from this lameness. I'm hoping.
could be.
Because I hate the idea that, you have to go run to the hills in order to find sanctuary.
Yeah,
I think that we can take our cities back, maybe.
maybe. But I do think, like, I don't know, places like LA, I think, and San Francisco might be a lost cause.
We'll
You
see.
know what I mean?
Well, I always bring up Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
What do I mean by him? Like, he stopped doing crack.
Yeah, and he looks a lot better.
That's what happens. That's all that has to happen.
Yeah,
Just
I think he,
eliminating crack from your diet makes a huge
I
difference.
think he had to get like some dental implants, but
That's
but he
fine.
does look better.
That's fine. So what I'm saying is, wait a minute. If that is the answer, then maybe we can kind of do that culturally.
Hmm.
We can remove the crack and just stop doing crack culturally.
Yeah,
And then our culture could become a lot healthier.
totally.
But that was a really profound thing that you notice, and I've noticed that too. You get out of media areas
Hmm.
and you realize that people are down to earth,
Hmm.
they're more friendly.
Yeah.
Plus, I was noticing that because you were texting me from back there, you were more serene.
Hmm.
You had a lot of serenity, and I think that not only was the environment lending it towards that, but also not being bombarded with chemtrails and 5G.
Totally.
Because I think we're bombarded by that and we become so accustomed to it, but who knows what kind of effect that's having on our anxiety
Well, you know what's really
and
interesting?
anger.
I felt very healthy there. And as soon as like we got back into town, like my family, we were like coughing and like congested. It was weird. It was like almost immediately.
Because who knows what we're being bombarded with
I know.
constantly.
I
And,
know.
and you had been maybe purged of that. Now welcome back.
Yeah.
Here's the smoke that we breathe. Although you guys might have been breathing the smoke because there was a huge fire.
Oh, was there?
Yeah,
I missed that.
yeah, there was
Mm.
a huge one because they start them.
Oh, I know.
They start them. I think that's kind of their pushing earth modification.
Yeah,
They push earth mod.
they do.
They go
They
start
do.
fires to push earth
They
mod.
do. They do.
They do. They do to do earth mod.
Yeah.
That's right. So that might have been why you guys are coughing. But I don't know. I think
I just feel like the atmosphere, the air, the lifestyle, the environment is cleaner in the areas that are away from the cities.
you're right. Well, remember what Malthus said.
Hmm.
Remember Malthus? He was like the dude back in the 1800s, and they're all Malthus. Will you go and tell us the most efficient way to basically cull all the useless eaters? And he was like, well, yes, I've given it some thought. And the best thing to do is you corral them into ghettos, and then you can kind of poison them and like zap them with stuff,
It's
and
easy.
it's pretty easy.
Well, and also, I mean, it's just kind of like getting rid of pests. Like if you've got like roaches or something, it's
Corral
easier
them.
to get rid of them if they're all in one corner, right?
Yes,
You just spray the Raid right in that corner and
that's
they're
it.
and they're dead.
That's it. I think
You
we're
don't have
getting.
to spray the whole
So
house.
that's probably what you're coughing was like the human raid.
Yeah.
As you came back in, it was like, oh, I forgot about the human raid.
Yeah. So yeah, they want to corral us into like these small areas, these condensed areas. They want everybody to think that, the earth is overpopulated and we have like everywhere is crowded. So people are living in cities and they think that that's how it is everywhere. They literally like some of these people never leave the cities
Yeah.
and they think this is how it is everywhere. Oh my gosh, it's true. It's overcrowded. We've got earth modification happening. We're all like gonna, have this huge problem. But actually, if they got in their car and drove out to the middle of the country, they would see like that's not the case.
And they see how the culture club is manipulating all of that. They get people scared of the scarcity. And that's what we've talked about, scarcity.
Totally.
Scarcity is get into your scarcity. Go
Right.
live in your city. Go live in your urban in city.
And listen to us telling you how terrible and scary and dangerous everything is.
Yeah. And then now, like what you're talking about, so they don't want you to go and with cash purchase an item from a small business down the street.
Right.
They want you to use your card and purchase from Amazon.
Hmm.
And what does that do? That's going to be eliminating more and more employees. Because I
Right.
think that's kind of I'm starting to see the gist of it. Like the people are becoming less and less necessary.
Yeah. They don't
So
even want
they
cashiers
they
anymore.
don't want cashiers, they don't want people in these warehouses, they don't want people having businesses. So the more that that happens, the more they're going to be corralling people into cities too, because people are going to be having to find work and it's going to
Hmm.
be harder and harder. And they're going to be like, good, 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 come on.
Hmm.
And then, we've got a job for you for the time being, but pretty soon then you're just going to be eating bugs and living
To-
in your coffin apartment.
totally.
So there's a lot of corralling going on. And what you're seeing is I think that's kind of white pill. I
It
think what
is.
you saw was white pill.
It is.
Yeah.
Don't be corralled. You don't have to be corralled.
As a matter of fact, let's go back out to
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Why does everybody have to live right here? Like,
Yeah.
come to the beach and vacation here.
Yeah.
We don't have to live here, but everyone's just like, no, 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 no. I
Right.
want to live on the coast. There's lots of room,
Yeah.
you know, and there's solutions. That's the white pill.
Mm.
There's solutions.
Right.
I think people are freaking out.
I think so. And I think a solution to, if you are feeling trapped and like overcrowded and stuff, there is a solution for that. You can leave. You can leave that area.
People get terrified of the economic dynamics
The
of leaving,
change.
which is hard. I
Yeah,
mean, it's gnarly. I mean, look at what you had to go through to procure the house.
I know.
I
It's
mean, that's
gnarly.
probably
But
daunting for people to
they
think about.
they want to make it really difficult too, which I think we might have a whole episode
We
on
do need to do
also,
an episode on
because
that.
they're making it really, really difficult to like, be a homeowner or,
You know what
you
the
know,
Culture Club hates is somebody who lives on like 10 acres
oh, they hate
and they
that.
have a big ranch house and maybe they have a few livestock animals out there
They don't like
and
that.
they're autonomous and self-sufficient. There's like, ooh,
Yeah, I know.
what are we going to do about that?
No, they don't like that at all. But
So,
you know what? It's what you have to realize is where there's a will, there's a way.
yeah.
And I've always kind of been like that. Like I'm kind of stubborn that way, where if I want something, I do what I need to do to
You
make
know
it
what I could
happen.
see possibly happening in the near future? Do I have time to make one more point?
Yeah.
What I could see possibly happening in the near future is people getting sick of all of these chemicals being sprayed on the crops
Hmm.
and starting organic farms.
Totally.
And then these organic farms being a new movement back to the land
Oh yeah.
where people go start farms and they have organic pigs,
I
they have
think
organic cows, and they grow herbs. And then I was also thinking too how that might play into it like a solution was I um I'm a proponent for an alternative healthcare system where we
yeah.
don't take pharmaceutical drugs. We don't take biopharma's petroleum-based poison. we learn to grow herbs that have healing tonics and healing elixirs.
Well, we're gonna do an episode on that maybe next too, because I wanted to talk about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think
I
it pertains to this episode just in that maybe in this renaissance that I've been talking about a lot. I
yeah,
think we're in the dark age right now. We're going to come into a renaissance.
yeah.
Maybe that renaissance will be a movement back to the
I think
lands.
that's happening already. I know people who've done that. In fact, one of my friends, actually, she picked up and moved her family to South Carolina, a different area, a couple years ago, and they were able to build a house on like 10 acres, and she has livestock. Like she has a bunch of chickens. They got like 50 chickens that like they ate. Like they're actually like living off the land. And I mean, some people can't be that like do
Have you ever
that
cruised
much, but
around and seen all the crops around here? Like the crops have these white plastic covers all over them.
yeah.
And I was like, what is that? And so I looked into it. What they're doing is fumigating the soil
Oh,
and
great.
killing everything in there. And it's gnarly and it's on our fruit and
Oh my
vegetables.
gosh. I
So,
thought those were like greenhouses.
no,
That's
it's
so
and you'll
gross.
see these dudes cruising around like they look like remember Neil Armstrong and the fake moon landing?
They're like in
They're wearing
hazmat
those,
suits.
they're wearing
Yeah.
those, and they're like squirting stuff on the
Ugh.
crops. And I'm going, if you're having to wear that,
Yeah,
and now I'm gonna eat that.
that's not good.
That's not so
No.
I think that's the solution. Um, I've talked with friends of mine who want to go start organic farms, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to save the money to go buy a few
And you
acres.
know what? You can do that in other areas.
Yeah.
Like, I have a couple friends who moved to Tennessee, and like they were able to buy like a couple acres, and you can do that. You don't have to be stuck in a coffin apartment in a city, because it's going to be it, things in a city are more expensive usually than going out
You kind of
in
have
other
to
areas.
step away from the media narrative that economic crisis and scarcity and there's not enough because that's what's constantly being thwarted on you or thrust on you.
Hmm.
And so you have to break out of that because otherwise you're going to just be terrified and submit to their prison.
Right. And that's what they want. They want you to shut up
Shut up and
and
comply,
comply and be corralled.
be corralled, and do what we're telling you to do. Otherwise, because that's all predicated on fear.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because it was an experience that I just had,
It was so profound.
and it was profound.
It
It was
was.
it was life-changing, and it opened my eyes, and I wanted to share that with our listeners because I feel like that information might be helpful to a lot of people, to realize that
Yeah,
there's other worlds out there that you don't even know about.
that's
If you
right.
don't get out of your bubble, you don't even know about
Ooh,
these
and that
other
conjures
worlds.
up Antarctica
It
too.
does.
There's other
There's
worlds
other
that you don't
worlds
know
that you
about.
don't know about, but they could be right here in your country. You might not have to go that far to find and realize a whole other world and a whole other life. Like,
And
you
maybe you
know,
don't have to move to the sticks. Maybe
yeah.
you just make a habit of getting out of town
Yeah. Like
regularly,
maybe go rent a cabin for a month.
whatever.
You know what I mean?
Or go for a hike on the day. Go for a hike.
Yeah.
Like for
Go for
me,
a drive.
I don't really have the capacity to go bone out like some people do.
Hmm.
You know, I'm not the gallivanter you are. I'm kind of like,
I do
I'm
like
kind of,
to
you're
I do
stoked,
like to gallivant.
which is great, but
It's a great
not
time.
everybody might have that capacity. So, like, what I'll do is I'll go for a walk someplace like on the beach
Yeah.
away from everybody.
Yeah.
And just that in itself will be a reset for me. And it'll be a way for me to kind of put things in perspective when I come back into the hustle and bustle of the urban sphere,
Totally.
because you got to step out of the urban sphere.
Yeah.
Because if you stay too long, you're going to become a walker.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, you can kind of walk too close to it.
Yeah.
Even red pill people are like not
You're
impervious.
you're like you're
You're
always
susceptible.
yeah, you're always kind of teetering on the edge, you know?
So, but I think that's such a good point, and it also is a good point that when you go to other areas, you see that, wait, these people aren't suffering from the mind virus that everyone in my
Right.
hometown is.
That's what I think was such an important thing for me to realize is that there's like other cultures out there, and different
Maybe they're not
way.
followers as much.
Yeah,
Because we've kind of talked about being a follower is kind of the predicate for becoming a walker.
totally.
And if you live out in a rural area, you're probably self-sufficient, autonomous. You've probably learned how to be, self-sufficient.
Mm,
So you're less inclined to just believe what some influencer on social media tells you and go adopt that world.
right.
You're more inclined to be kind of at least rational. I think a lot of people are Christians out in those rural
I
areas
think
too. Have you
so too.
noticed?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that's an interesting point. When you're driving around those beautiful areas, there's so many churches.
Yeah.
There's like lots of churches on every block.
Which is a good thing
You know what
and
I mean?
also kind of a bad thing because churches, I mean, obviously I'm a Christian, so I like that they're Christians, but churches can also be cults.
Totally.
And they can be corralling people
Mhm,
into kind of a cult mentality in the
mhm.
middle of nowhere, like a
Right.
children of the corn type thing.
Yeah.
But you didn't run into that too
I
much.
didn't run into that.
No.
Yeah.
It seems like if you go into Charleston,
Mhm.
then you might get
It's
some.
different. It's a little
It's
different.
interesting.
Yeah. But even still, amazingly, I love that city and it's way less walker-like than any other cities I've
Like
been to.
LA.
Oh my God, not even anything close.
LA is gnarly
Gnarly. Oh, I
walkers.
know.
It's like everywhere. And it's kind of overwhelming. It's like, how are there so many?
I know. Because they all condense in these big cities. So I
Well, that
think,
was really good. I'm
yeah,
so glad that you brought that up. I think that that was a great kickoff for season two
I think so too.
because it was kind of getting back into, okay, what are we up against?
Yeah.
I mean, The Walking Dead was a documentary.
Totally.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
And sometimes you just need to get out of town to get away from the
You
walkers.
gotta get away from the walk.
Yeah.
Although sometimes in The Walking Dead, there'd be like walkers out in the middle of
We're
rural
out in the
areas
middle of
too. There's
nothing.
a few of them out there.
Yeah.
See, you kind of have this idea like it's like utopia over there. I still think my gut tells me there's walkers
I'm
out there.
sure there's walkers, but just
There's
they're not as condensed.
there's
Yeah.
backwoods Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Some of them have backwoods Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But that's, for the most part, it seems like you got to have a refreshing break from the bombardment.
Yeah.
And now, welcome
Thank
back.
you.
You ready to stop talking?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It was great seeing everybody again.
You
No,
too.
I guess I didn't see you guys, but I got to see you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.